things a bit earlier today because I have to take my car in to get an oil change. We will be doing the earth signs today. So that is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Capricorn looks like this. So to get started, I'm just going to gently brush this selenite over your auric field. Selenite, of course, being aligned with the elemental energy of earth. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. I wonder if I can get this to be just a little bit darker. There we go. Okay, perfect. So, earth signs, what seems to be going on with you today? I'm going to be using this deck that I created. I call it the Lunacy deck because it's very moon focused. And we did just have the full moon in the sign of Leo yesterday. So the first part of this deck is lunar mansions. Another part of the deck is the lunar cycles. And then finally, the major arcana of the tarot. I am also going to be using the Aquarian Tarot. This is a classic deck, and it's very easy to work with. It's right up there with the Morgan Greer and the Hanson Roberts and those decks. So if you're looking for a good beginner deck, I can recommend it. And if you're looking for a classic 70s Art Nouveau or arts and crafts movement revival deck, I can recommend it on that account as well. We're going to start with the earth sign of Taurus. So Taurus, if you would just relax. And any questions that you'd like to have answered during the reading, allow those to lots of major arcanas for you today, Taurus. Just relax and allow those things to come to the forefront of your thoughts. And if they're stressful to you, just kind of breathe through that tension. And as you inhale, imagine the divine white light of Source filling your entire body, from the crown of your head down into the soles of your feet and into the ground below. And then, as you exhale, Just sigh out that tension. Just allow it all to be flushed from your system by that divine energy of Source, and allow it to return to Source to be transmuted. Okay. All right, and let me mark down your timestamp here. So, Taurus, let's look at these cards first. We have Ma'at, which in this deck is the Justice card. We have Lambda here. The value of that letter is 30. And we also have the astrological sign of Libra down here. We're talking about balance, and the divine order being restored to situations. So that is what we're looking at with justice. And of course, the feather of truth that was weighed against the heart in the underworld. The lunar cycle we're looking at is waning gibbous. So this is where we are actually with the lunar cycle right now, that it is immediately following the full moon, and the light is starting then to drain away from the moon as the orbit shifts, of course. The lunar mansion that we're looking at is Al-Butane. Al-Butane refers to the belly of the constellation of Aries. I'm going to read a little bit out of this book about the lunar mansion. So the second lunar mansion is things like serene sovereign power, reconciliation, and pacification. So that going along with the Justice card. And there's still a lot of power in this situation, but that it is slowly abating, right? So in your past, Taurus, we have the Devil card, and the Devil card is showing up in the upright position. You can see these two figures are alienated from one another. And this looming demon in the background has control over them. The Devil card is about all of these things in our lives which control us. Some of them we can shake their bonds. Some of them are things like illness or unfortunate circumstance. We do not have the Devil card here paired with the Five of Pentacles, fortunately. But economic disadvantage can also be indicated by the Devil card. It can, of course, refer to addictions and compulsions. And with the card showing up in the upright like this in the past, you could have recently conquered something in your life that was controlling you. But this could also be an indicator that there are factors in your life right now that are controlling you, and that influence is extending into the current situation. Oh, it's this guy, the guy that starts his car at this time. Sometimes it's later, sometimes it's this time, I guess. I apologize for the automobile sounds. So, here in the place of the significator, we have the Hanged Man. This card is appearing upright. So, here with the Devil card and the Hanged Man and the Death card, there's really a lot going on with you right now, Taurus. That perhaps there are factors that are controlling you. They might be making you feel stuck here with this Hanged Man energy. We do have the Death card crossing. So there's a lot of transition going on right now. And perhaps because that's the case, you are kept in a position of stasis, that you yourself are not able to take action because everything around you is kind of transitioning into something else. An equalization process. So there could be things that are just getting all equalized, and that because these factors have controlled you in the past, perhaps they won't be controlling you moving forward. The equalization could also have nothing to do with you in particular, especially because we have the lunar mansion of Al-Butane. So that could be more like diplomatic treaties and things like that. And so if you're affected by those things, but not really in a position to control them, that would make sense with these cards as well. Down here in the MMCLI, so I like to imagine that the 12 houses spread is laid out over my Celtic cross, and down here between the third and fourth houses is the MMCLI, which represents the origins and foundations of what we look at then when we get up to the midheaven, which is the goal or destiny. So this is a good card to pay attention to regarding current situations that are going to be affecting your destiny directly. And the card that we have in this position is the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is a good card for masculine potency and fertility, and is very good for your energy. So this is pure fire elemental energy, Taurus. Perhaps you have fire prominently in your chart. But this Ace of Wands energy is very good for combating some of these factors that we see here with the Hanged Man and the Devil card. Here in the future, Taurus, we have what I like to refer to as the Quit Your Job card, which is the Seven of Pentacles reversed. Now, the Seven of Pentacles is a card about evaluating all of the work that you've put into a situation and balancing that against the payoff that you've received for it. Now, sometimes the cards can show up reversed in the future if this is a situation that the potential for it exists, but perhaps it's not as predestined as if it was showing up upright. But with the way that your particular reading is going, I would take this more to mean that you may very seriously want to consider entering a new job or looking for a new job and getting out of your current position. Because to me, that is a very clear and specific message that comes along with this card when it shows up like that. Now, your destiny position. We have a very tricky card here. And I believe this card came up in either the Gemini or the Libra reading yesterday. So if you have air energies in your chart, I do recommend checking out that video. The Ten of Wands is Saturn in Sagittarius energy. So Sagittarius is aligned with all of these ninth house things, like things we do to improve ourselves, long distance travel, learning new skills at a higher level, and your relationships to religious organizations. But the planet of Saturn is a very slow moving energy, so not very good for long distance travel, not very good for learning. You don't want to learn too slowly. You want to learn at a good and reasonable pace. But Saturn is very good for establishment as well. So this card is about burdens and oppression. But remember, down here in the Imam Zilai, we had this Ace of Wands. So there's almost an implication here that you're trying to gather these wands so that you'll be like filling up your energy bar. But the end result of that is bringing you to the Ten of Wands. Now, just because this card is upright, I don't think it necessarily means that this is inevitable, because if this card shows up reversed in that position, a lot of times I would read that to mean that you would be casting off burdens in the future. So by showing up in the upright, it's sending a very clear and specific message, much like what I was talking about with the Seven of Pentacles. So I wouldn't take it too harshly. Understand that right now things are equalizing, right? Diplomatic treaties are being struck, but also that during this period of time, we are in the waning phase of this energy, that this energy is abating, and eventually it will lead to the void of the new moon. So I would say that if you are feeling kind of stuck at this time, really spend some time honing your resume, looking at what kind of jobs you do want, what kind of jobs you don't want, you know? So do go through this evaluation process. And whatever this is, I don't think it'll be in your life forever. But it might be something that there's kind of a balance to it also. That there will be times where it affects you more, and there will be times where it affects you less. So currently, it might be affecting you less, but things are not necessarily conducive to you moving forward. Whereas in the future, it could be affecting you more. But things might be better for your mobility. And do also remember that the tens are the ends of the cycle, such that the only way out is through. Taurus, thank you for joining me for your reading today. If you're interested in the extended, I will be doing that on the member side of the channel after this live stream is concluded. And of course, I always put the timestamps down below. So now we're going to be moving on to the earth sign of Virgo. So, Virgo, if you would, while I shuffle your cards, allow any questions that you'd like to have answered by the reading to gently float up to the forefront of your mind. If any of them are stressful for you, or if you are starting to feel any anxiety about it, gently breathe through that tension. So inhale and imagine your body filling from the crown of your head down through the bottoms of your feet into the ground with the divine white light of Source. And then as you exhale, that your breath, as it is released, carries the tension and stress and physical discomfort out of your body. I don't know, Virgo, this looks a lot like last week's reading. I guess it's like that sometimes. You've got some swords here, you've got some cups, and you showing up as the hermit in your own reading. And Major Arcana card. And the moon phase. Ah, okay. Yeah, Virgo, this looks a lot like readings that I've done for you before in the not too distant past, but we'll go with it. It'll just be reconfirmation. So let's look at these cards first. Hi, Malik. Thank you for coming. We have the moon card. This is the letter and the number row, which is a value of 100. The sign of Pisces. So some of you Virgos might have oppositions in your natal chart between Virgo and Pisces. It is your oppositional sign. We do have the two pigs, the feral pig and the domesticated pigs. Moon card energy is a long and winding path that is obscured by darkness. So the moon cycle to go along with this is the first quarter moon. And the first quarter moon is halfway between the new moon and the full moon. So a project has been begun, but we're not quite to the benchmarks yet where we start seeing progress. This might be the first breakthrough of something. The lunar mansion that we have to go along with this is Al-Na'am, which is the beam. It has to do with the arrow of Sagittarius. So it could be cutting through all of this obscurity of the moon. This might be your first glimmer of light. Let me come in here and tell you a little bit more about Al-Na'am. So some themes of this lunar mansion: a hunter, targeted pursuit of a goal, taming or containing of aggressive forces, and alliance. So you could be navigating some things at this time that are very obscure. And with the first quarter moon energy, you might have reached kind of the first clearing where you can see a little bit of light trickling down through the trees to light your way. In the past, we have the Five of Wands, and it's showing up in the upright. So the Five of Wands is an environment in which there's a lot of creative competition. And the theory behind it is that all of these competitors are training against each other so that they all become better in hand-to-hand combat. None of them are trying to kill the others. They are trying to best one another and better one another. And because this card is upright, this is a situation which has begun in the past and might be influencing the current environment for you, Virgo. So, the place of the significator, that's you, Virgo. We have the Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Swords is crossed by the Hermit card. So, excuse me, this Knight of Swords has to do with polarized good and bad, right and wrong ideals, such that this person might be a champion of social justice causes, but there is also a potential with the Knight of Swords for people to get canceled, whether they deserve it or not, simply because this person has decided how they feel about a certain topic and are willing to really cut people down on account of it. We do have this card showing up in the upright, so it could be a good time for clarification between right and wrong as well, but not with that more fine-tuned discernment that you get with the King of Swords, because the Knight of Swords energy is fire of air. So we still have that action, bringing in that aggression. The crossing card is the Hermit, and this is you, Virgo, showing up in your own reading. The Hermit is a solitary figure. This is somebody who is taking time unto themselves for their spiritual growth and development and shining that as a beacon out into the world. So in the current environment, it does look like perhaps the best defense that you have found at this time for unclear situations is to take clear and directed action, even in the face of obscurity. And you are able to do so because you are coming from this place of personal growth, that things do become that much clearer for you in particular. So now we are going to talk about the EF. Oh, Malik, I'm glad that you're enjoying the reading so far. Thank you. So the EF is kind of the origins and foundations of all of the events that will be occurring far off into the future when we talk about your goal or destiny. These are things that are part of the current situation. So down in the EF for you, Virgo, we have this Queen of Swords. This is water of air energy. And the Queen of Swords is somebody who speaks her truth, even if it hurts other people. Now, not because it hurts other people, but speaking the truth, even if it's not popular, and even if other people are hurt by it. If that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen. And promoting her truth as the narrative, not really having a concern for what is true overall, perhaps, but needing to speak out about one's own experiences is more like the feeling of the Queen of Swords. And these two energies together, where we have the Hermit. So we have this person who has spent time, solitary time, developing their own spirituality, and they're shining that like a beacon out into the world. So having the Queen of Swords paired with this energy is very good, because it means that you are putting that message out there. Here in the future, we have the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is a very emotionally nurturing person, but as far as her own emotional needs are concerned, sometimes she puts that on the back burner and keeps those things hidden from others. Water, of course, runs very deep, and so those emotions can be layer upon layer. Now, Virgo, this could be you. Especially we had Piscean energies coming out here, so this could be someone you're dealing with as well. And it could be that this Queen of Cups then is how the Queen of Swords energy ends up being tempered and integrated into your future existence overall. And here in the midheaven, which is the goal or destiny position, it's going to be directly a result of all of this speaking out the truth. We have another cup here, another cup card, which is the Eight of Cups, and it's showing up in the reverse. So the Eight of Cups is a card. You can see that this person back here is kind of walking away from all of these cups. So it's not a card about going to another destination necessarily, as much as it is about walking away from something. Now, this card is reversed. So the potential for you to walk away from something is there. And I feel like it's to conserve your energies, your emotional energies, because we have these two cups coming out together with the Queen of Cups and the Eight of Cups, that if this Queen of Cups were to add this cup to this stack, it would then be the Nine of Cups, would be wish fulfillment. But something is preventing that here. So it will be up to you whether or not you want to remain in this situation, whatever it is. Something where, perhaps there's a lot of competition. You do feel the need to speak your piece and are doing that. And you are coming from a place of knowing right and wrong and spiritual attunement. But sometimes, as much as you can fix a situation, things can't be fixed enough, and you do eventually have to walk away. But we're pretty early on in this process, so I think there's still quite a bit that will need to unfold before you're ready to make that decision, Virgo. Thank you for joining me for the Virgo reading today. If you are interested, the extended will be over on the members side of the course, the timestamps will be down below. So now we're going to move on to the earth sign of Capricorn. And Capricorn, if you would, just kind of gently allow any concerns that you have that you'd like to address in this reading to float to the forefront of your mind and wait there patiently so that they can be addressed. And if you are feeling stress or tension related to any of these issues, just gently breathe through it. So inhale and imagine the divine white light of Source filling your body from the crown of your head down through the soles of your feet. And then as you exhale, just allow all of that tension to be carried right out of your body and allow it to return to Source for transmutation. All right. Some very good cards so far. And now I'm going to deal out these as well. Okay. And the Major Arcana card. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the sound of the cards. I try to keep them a little bit further away from the mic so they're not too loud. Okay. All right. And sometimes I feel like I'm getting a lot of the same cards over and over again within the span of a week. But I feel like that's probably because people are going through a lot of the same situations at any given time. All right, so we'll start right down the timestamp. Okay. And we'll start over here with this batch of cards. So the Major Arcana card that I have for you this week, Capricorn, is the Father. This is the Emperor card in this deck. We have here the letter Phi, which is a value of 90. The sign of Aries. So some of you might also have Aries prominently featured in your chart. This card, the Father, is about command, control, authority. It could be you having authority and agency in your own life. And it's also about rule by divine right. The lunar cycle that we're looking at is a waxing gibbous moon. So this would be leading up to a full moon. Not quite at the full moon yet, but leading up to it. So energy increasing and almost at its fullest point. It might be that you're reaching the culmination of a cycle as well. And the lunar mansion that I have for you this week, Capricorn, is Al-Kalb, which is the heart of Scorpio. This is the 18th lunar mansion. So let me tell you some more about that. It's based around the star Antares, which is the heart of the constellation of Scorpio. The themes of this lunar mansion: he who seizes, has to do with poison and medicine, the angel of death, and protection against inimical forces. So, having to do with enmity a bit, having to do with the idea of poisoning. Hi, Nina. It's good to see you. And has an affinity for the planet Mars as well. So a very protective, but also kind of a defensive lunar mansion. So that there are kind of like defensive energies tied into that someone might be retaliating as well. Capricorn here in the past for you. We have the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords can be about dishonesty, deception, treachery, guile. So this person, we can't see their face. Oh, I'm just doing the general readings right now. But if you want a personal reading, my information is down in the description box. So the Seven of Swords being about these treacheries, it's possible that you are being lied to by somebody else. You could be orchestrating some underhanded dealings of your own, Capricorn, as well. And this being in the past but being upright can indicate that these things are still going on into the current situation. So the significator card for your reading, Capricorn, is the Ace of Pentacles. And this card is very good for new financial beginnings, and it's showing up for you in the upright. So this is a wonderful placement for prosperity and growth to come into your life. And it is pure earth elemental energy, which would be aligned with your sign. This is crossed by the Seven of Cups. And we have all of these different possibilities showing up here for you. Some of them good, some of them, like the snake here, a bit like Al-Kalb, really, the lunar mansion. And also that guy from the Black Sabbath album covers here as well. So we have a few different potential energies swirling around, if you would, that Ace of Pentacles. So down in the EF. Oh, thank you, Malik. Yeah, I love this deck. It's the Aquarian Tarot. Down in the EF, this is going to be everything that is the foundation and origin for what we see up here in the midheaven position. And down in the EF, we have the Four of Cups reversed. So the Four of Cups is a card about choices as well, like the Seven of Cups. But because it's showing up reversed here, I think it's possible that you're not really content with any of options that are currently open to you, even though you have all of this potential surrounding you, that maybe none of it is what you are really looking for. Here in the future position, we have the Six of Cups, and it's reversed. So sometimes when things are reversed in the future, it means that the potential for that is there. And the Six of Cups is a card about nostalgia and the past, and can represent things returning from the past. So this could be the potential of something returning from the past. But the Six of Cups in reverse in the future can also be urging you to look forward instead of behind you. So if this is to return from the past, because the potential is there, you shouldn't be focused on that. You should be focused on what is in front of you and what needs to happen for you to move forward, rather than what has already occurred and what you already know and are comfortable with. And what this is going to open up for you, Capricorn, is the Wheel of Fortune. So fortune shifting in your favor. We do have two of the fixed signs, fellow earth sign Taurus and the fire sign Leo, depicted here on this card. And then kind of the Scorpio would be these serpents on either side, and Aquarius shown as the man here. So the four fixed signs. This card is about the rotation of cycles. So here we are coming to the culmination of a particular cycle for you. There is some treachery around, but I don't think anything that is going to hold you back, Capricorn. I think really the only thing that's holding you back in this particular reading is your own feelings of wanting to hold on to something that you have decided that you want, and that perhaps better things await you, but you have to open up your perspective to them. Thank you to everyone who came out today. And I do want to find a way to open up time between the readings, so that if any of you want to contribute through Super Chat, that I could pull cards for you. Oh, thank you, Malik. But we've come now to the end of the Earth sign readings today. And so I would like to wish all of you a very happy weekend. I hope that you're all having a great week. I'm going to go over now and do the extended readings, and I look forward to seeing you again